You gonna ask Bob? I want to ask somebody to tell me what that $50 million cap.
My name's Dan. Yeah, I realize that.
Anyway, oh my gosh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got another committee meeting that's starting here as soon as we get ready to go. I'd appreciate cooperation.
The argument there is that's kind of what I have started. So be careful with making it perfect. We're going to be good. Personally, that's where we are politically. We got accountability. That's going to be that's I don't that's the issue on the test. We got all this. A lot of people I think see test and the next time they go the best product, see where it is and that.
Okay. Hello, how you doing, sir?
Oh, hopefully. But I'm not.
All right, let's call roll for the general fund. We can have everybody's cooperation today. We got a half an hour to do 17 and a half bills, I think, something along that line.
Senator Albritton?
Here.
Senator Chambliss?
Here.
Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? Senator Coleman Madison? Senator Elliott? Senator Devan?
Here.
Senator Jones? Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston?
Here.
Senator Orr? Senator Price? Senator Shonut? Senator Stewart?
Here.
Senator Stutz? Senator Weaver?
All right, we've got a quorum. Let's get started. We're going to try to do this in as lightning as we can. Is Senator Barfoot in the House? SB 76.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'll be really brief if I could. I know we're kind of limited
Please.
on time.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you what this bill doesn't do before I tell you what it does in fact do. It does not increase weight limits. You may know that there was a bill that was introduced last year, so it doesn't touch the weight limits. It does not expend any revenue. There's not a source of revenue at this we're tapping into at the current time. It simply sets up the Rural Logging Support Act to enhance economic development by creating funding for rural bridges and logging efficiencies. You will find a substitute, I believe, that the committee has.
Y'all have a substitute? Okay, it's before, if you don't have it, we'll pass it out to you.
It is important to note that it is replaces the earmarked utility tax and that substitute with discretionary funding from the legislature, for which we will all get a vote on in previous and future years. The funding as allocated would be for 85% for grants to county commissions to maintain, repair, replace.
I think that'll do it, Senator. Any
Thank you.
questions?
Move adoption of the sub.
We've got a motion, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Bill gets favorable.
Thank you so
Call
much.
the next bill.
I think we just adopted the
Adopt the sub, did we adopt, thank you.
Oh,
We haven't adopted the,
all right, we got the sub. Thank you for that correction. We're now on the bill. We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All right, now we got it done.
Thank you. Members of the committee, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate your patience. I get a little bit nervous. Senator Coleman Madison's here.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. SB 107 is a bill that would put in place funding for the Alabama Housing Trust Fund, which is a statewide housing trust fund for down payment assistance for persons of low and middle income. Alabama passed the Alabama Housing Trust Fund years ago, but we never funded it. And what this does is add an extra 15 cents to properties that is being recorded. And the additional monies, of course, all of it doesn't go to the trust fund. It is broken out how it is going to be divided as far as probate judges in the county which it originated. The trust fund itself gets 25%, then the county treasurers in which it was collected, and then, of course, the state treasurers get a portion of this funding. But this is one way to have an ongoing fund that will fund this this program that will help people of low income to have down payment assistance. And basically, that's the gist of it.
All right. Again, to be clear, this is a 15-cent per $1,000, I think it is.
Right. And it is a one-time. It's one time when you
Every time when you file the mortgage.
when you
that's
file
correct.
and pay for recording fees.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I want to point out that the agenda says that it's a fee increase. It is not. It is a tax increase. We have a mortgage tax. We have a deed tax. It is doubling the mortgage tax. While the Housing Trust Fund may be a worthy goal, I can't support the tax.
Okay, we thank you for your comments, and we hope that others will see the need, that this is a statewide program, and it is a one-time fee. And remember, the person who is even benefiting, because they are filing, they have to file to record it, they are paying the fee as well.
and I think everyone's aware of this. We've had this in before. I promised the senator that we'd give it a hearing here in committee, and we'll take an up or down vote and see
Yes,
how we
sir.
do. Is
Thank
that all
you.
right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm sorry, we got Senator Coleman. We have a motion for passage. We have a second.
Mr. Chairman.
Comments? Senator, yes, go ahead.
Senator, is there, I don't see it, but is there anything in here that caps what this fee is? Because I know with large projects, this could be millions of dollars for one deed for large projects. So
Do you have an idea about it? I understand that at large projects, yes, it could be, but you don't have a whole lot of those unless it's an industrial kind of thing, I guess.
that's correct.
And then, there are not that many of those. And again, this is a one-time, it's not like it's continuing.
I'm just concerned of its negative impact on economic development, so I'll continue to work with you toward that.
Okay, but I would like to get it out of committee and we can work on it. This is not the first time this bill has been out here. It's been out here for now be 3 years. And so I have not heard anything from the people in economic development.
All right. Thank y'all. We'll go ahead, we'll call the roll.
Senator Chambliss, Senator Beasley, Senator Coleman Madison,
Aye.
Senator Elliott, Senator Gavan, Senator Jones,
Aye with a reservation.
Senator Kelly, Senator Livingston, Senator Orr, Senator Price, Senator Shellnut, Senator Stewart, Senator Stutz, Senator Weaver.
We have 7. I'm going to vote no. That'll be 7-6. That'll be 7-6. Bill receives a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, members.
SB 122, Senator Shellnut.
Senator Shellnut,
Senator Pickleball is not here today.
you going to handle this for him?
I'm going to do that. We did this in County Municipal Government, the House version of this the other day. Currently, state motor fuel taxes are constitutionally required to be used on roads and bridges. This bill has a sub that I think Asia's got, right? A sub for that. You can pass that around. I'm describing the sub and the bill all in one. But this basically requires locals to use the municipal and county motor fuel tax on roads and bridges and infrastructure. And I'd move adoption of the sub.
Y'all have, anybody got the sub?
You not have a sub?
No.
Okay, thought we had a sub. We'll deal with it on, no, we'll just deal with it on the floor if that's okay.
Well, so let's just talk about the bill itself.
That's the bill.
Okay, let's just get to the bill, which is the motor fuel levied by counties, Minnesota, used restricted to the road and bridge construction. I've got some questions about that too, but any further discussion? Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I have to be mixed up with anybody, I'm glad it's Senator Coleman Madison. I was just trying to make sure we did have this, a House version of this in county and municipal government. And just trying to make sure in this version, I mean, I already have a little trepidation that we are limited, because I actually think on the state tax, we ought to include public transportation. We're not doing it here either on the
Before we bring this to the floor, we'll make sure that we get the sub in hand, and we'll go to you and make sure that we have all the questions answered.
And the other piece was just making sure in the county and municipal government version, the House version, that existing projects were not impacted.
Exactly. Any further questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Does that include existing taxes that may already be previously earmarked?
That's what yeah.
It excludes those.
Okay.
Okay.
It should and it will. We'll make sure that
There was some
happens.
question as to that language, and that's what I think the sub's clearing up.
I have a question.
We have a motion
I have a question.
on the bill? Oh, question.
Senator, right now, okay, so we are restricting this to just roads and bridges, just like the state. So is this bill further limiting what they're able to do with those funds?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what are they doing that you would not like them to do?
Now, just to be clear, this is Senator Shellnut's bill, and he's not here, but I handled this for him yesterday in county and municipal government. I'm going to try, or handed Representative Klaus's version of this. So just when we say what you're trying to do, I just want to make sure I'm clear about
Well,
that.
I'm just wondering why the need for this bill to further limit local governments from making decisions on what is needed.
So the theory is that our gas taxes, our fuel taxes, to be more specific, are user fees essentially, right? You pay gas taxes so that your infrastructure is there to use. And that those fees that are paid, those taxes that are paid, Senator Gavan, you're correct, are for the betterment of our infrastructure, but not to be spent in other areas like parks, for instance. Now, Senator Coleman's point about public transportation is well taken. I think that's certainly valid because we're dealing with public transportation or dealing with transportation. But the theory is that if we're going to charge a tax on gasoline, that it should be used for roads and bridges and not for other extraneous municipal functions.
I see, I guess I see your side of it, but my question is that, again, we limit the ability of local governments to manage what is needed in their particular city or county. And, you know, we can say, well, we want you to spend this on this, but we don't need to put it on this. This is where there's a greater need.
If I, in the interest of time, I've made a commitment to my other senator, Shelnut, that I'd give him a vote on this. And we don't have the sub. All we're trying to do is get the bill progressing at this stage. So I'd ask if we don't mind. I have the same questions that you do, Senator Coleman Madison, as to where we are with that and the limitation of things. And I think the sub may, I don't know if it'll fully address them or not, but we will. With that, I'd ask if you're ready, if there's not any other questions, I'd prefer to just move to vote.
Go ahead, I'll just vote my conviction.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Senator Albritton?
Aye.
Senator Chambliss? Aye. Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? No. Senator Coleman Madison?
No.
Senator Elliott?
Aye.
Senator Gavan? Senator Jones? Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston? Senator Orr? Senator Price? Senator Shonut? Senator Stewart? Senator Stutz? Senator Weaver?
Bill's given a favorable report. Call next bill, SB 281. That's my bill. If I might, this is the motor vehicle registration. This is a car tag for the members of the Battleship Commission, so that those that have served as a Battleship Commissioner or the chairman thereof gets a particular personalized tag. Doesn't increase fees, doesn't change any distributions, simply providing the
Approval.
these. We have a motion to approve. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any discussion, any problems? Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you. Call the next bill. Oh,
Just a question, are we not taking up Senator Singleton's bill today? Are we not taking up
I'm sorry. No.
Senator Singleton.
I've talked to Senator Singleton. He wishes to have this carried over. I apologize.
HB 23, Representative Brown.
Representative Brown, volunteer fire departments. You going to allow them by kitchens?
Not by kitchens, no, sir. What this bill does, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. What this bill does is House Bill 23, and it allows volunteer fire departments and rescue squadrons to buy Gatorades, waters, food while they're on duty, and then also allows them to replace kitchen equipment that might go out if a microwave goes out, then allows them to be able to buy a new microwave out of operational funds. A few years ago, we had an examiner of public accounts ruling came down and said that they could not buy Gatorades and water and that sort of thing for the volunteer firefighters while they were on duty. And so you had fire departments going out and trying to raise money and get donations for Gatorade. So you got these guys that are in our community volunteering their time, and they
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move for approval.
Well, if I might, if you look, there's an amendment I have, and we talked about this previously, but
yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you working with me on this.
Not a problem. I appreciate your patience. I've done a couple of three things in this. Some of this is somewhat technical, but what we're doing here is putting some requirements for checking in, that we keep records on this, so that when the audits are done, they'll see what the money has been spent for. Right. And requiring it be kept for 3 years. That's basically it. Any questions? Motion is second on the amendment. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Oh, you keep the records for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Senator Orr.
The tax credit for
transportation, that's going to come off income taxes. Am I correct, Mr.
Yes, sir, and in the amendment, we'll address some of that too. On that is that the tax credit be effective beginning January 1st of 2024. Let's see, allowed up to the amount of the tax liability, the taxpayer, what he's paid out, is not refundable or transferable, can't be carried forward, and unreimbursed mileage at the standard mileage allowance for state employees. So we put some restrictions in on that too.
Okay, I guess we're on the honor policy for that, I guess is what we're.
Well, with the audits, they'll usually be able to turn that up, I hope. And that also hopes that with the records, we hope that happens, yes.
Okay, well, we'll vote it out today. I need to get with you on this.
Sure, sir.
Okay?
Let me say one thing on that too, is that one of the restrictions in there is, and that's in there because those volunteer fire departments, most of them will drive their car, to a fire rather than go to a firehouse like they would in an urban area. And so it allows them to get some type of reimbursement for that. But there's a check. One of the things that I wanted to make sure was in this bill was that when they go to a fire or an incident, after it's over, there's a piece of paper that they have to verify with the chief. It records their mileage right then. And so it's not like they're going back a year later saying, oh, well, I'm trying to figure that out. So there's a way then to specifically at that event to have that on record. This happened August 15th, blah, 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 moving forward, so that when they turn that in, that there is some types of objection.
Is that per statute or is that that's just policy and procedures of?
Well, it's in this bill, so it would be statute moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still want to meet with you because I see potentially for the 10% or 20% out there that might want to abuse it. Potential for that.
We're talking about 12,000 volunteer firefighters and rescue squadron members, and out of that, you're going to have a handful that'll actually take advantage of this. So,
in a good way.
Yes, in a good way. Exactly. Hopefully.
Well, I want to try to see if there's something we need to do.
That sounds like something
bad ways. All
right. Senator Beasley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just glad to see the amendment address accountability.
Thank you. Any other questions? Not, let's call the roll.
Senator Albrecht.
Aye.
Senator Chambliss. Senator Beasley. Senator Coleman. Senator Coleman-Madison. Senator Elliott. Senator Gavan. Senator Jones. Senator Kelly. Senator Livingston. Senator Orr. Senator Price. Senator Shonut. Senator Stewart. Senator Stutz. Senator Weaver.
Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Let's call the next bill, HB 26, Standridge, representative thereof. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you.
Now, if I might, ladies and gentlemen, this is dealing with Board of Registrars. We've had this before, and I've been the obnoxious one on this. The tire marks are completely evident all over me on this one, and I still have my hesitations and concerns. But before we go any further, I'll move for a favorable report. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? None? Oh, we have questions? Go ahead, sir. Abstained? You were one beating me? No, I'm sorry. Senator Coleman-Madison.
I just wanted to clarify, Representative Sandridge, this basically allows the Board of Registrars to kind of be in sync with the times that the courthouse is open, because people come to a courthouse, especially if you're having issues dealing with voters, registration or whatever, could be just change of address. You're assuming that that office is open because they're in the courthouse. And so is this increase that put them more in sync with the hours that are operational for the courthouse?
It does help in that, excuse me, it does help in that, but it's the workload. It's the workload of this specific to Blount County hasn't just increased over the years with the growth of the county. And it is really about being able to, have enough to get it done in time.
So do they have a limit of how many, is it limited to 168 days currently of what they can work?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Senator.
Okay, so I just need to understand on page 3, there's a section that exempts out Jefferson County. And I mean, maybe I'm just having a slow day. I don't understand the last part of it. So it starts on line 70, Jefferson County, which is now operating under the provisions of local laws, shall be exempted from this section, provided, however, that where the term each year is used in the local laws, the term means each fiscal year. So do we have clarification that that's what we're doing in Jefferson County?
That didn't change. This is existing law.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood.
That's a valid question. Valid question. That part is, all this is existing law except what's marked.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, another question. Anytime I see Dallas County and legislation, my eyes, ears peak up.
Mine too.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. And so I see that we meet a maximum of 120 days. Well, Wilcox is also in my district, and Lowndes and Perry. And I see a disparity. So is this the same amount of days, or is there a change?
None of that's changed.
None of that's changed. So we get to
just
keep
Blount County is the only thing that would change.
Just Blount.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Okay.
In existing law. It just has to be a general bill because it's a general law. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
One thing that they changed is.
We got a motion. Well, I've already done that. We got, okay. Yeah. All right. Let's call the roll.
Senator Albritton?
Aye.
Senator Chambliss? Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? Senator Coleman Madison? Senator Elliott? Senator Gavan? Senator Jones? Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston?
Aye.
Senator Orr? Senator Price? Senator Shonut? Senator Stewart? Senator Stutz? Senator Weaver?
We got favorable report.
Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee.
We're going to move and jump a little bit here because the topic HB 112 will call forward now. Representative Crawford. Representative Crawford has also got a few tire marks on me. Is this the same subject, different place? So go ahead, Representative Crawford.
Yes, this is Limestone County increasing the days to 5 days a week for the Board of Registrars.
Move for favorable. Motion and second. Any questions? If not, any objection to previous roll? No objections, previous roll used. Bill receives a favorable report.
Thank you.
Representative Crawford, you want to go ahead and do the guardians ad litem since you're here?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. This bill deals with changing the cap.
We're on HB 244, and we have an amendment. If we can hand that out. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Representative.
Yes, the cap from 2,500 that's per attorney that's appointed to 5,000 for the life of that juvenile.
This is an increasing of appointed lawyer fees for guardian ad litems only. It puts a cap, I think, at $5,000 total.
Yes.
And it allows renewables, and it's 2,500 and 1,000. This is what the amendment does, is places the caps and stretches it out so the same person can remain as a GAL over time.
Mr. Chairman, I move favorable on our adoption of sub.
May we go ahead and get the sub done first?
The amendment.
The amendment, yes. You have any objection to the amendment?
No.
Okay, well, let's get the amendment on, then we'll turn to the question.
I would offer the amendment.
We have an amendment. We have a second.
Second.
Any objection to previous roll? Add the yay there. Okay, no objections. We have the amendment adopted. We're now on the bill. Question, Senator Gavan.
I thought we had this bill before.
Yeah,
Second.
yeah. All right. Any objections to previous roll? If no objections, Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you.
Chairman and members.
Good job, Representative Crawford. Couldn't have done it better myself. Call next bill. Yeah, where are we? That's a good question. We are now on, I think, Representative Hill. Is that correct?
I don't know, sir. I'm here.
SB 40.
Yeah.
You want to get your retired judges paid some more?
Absolutely. What I want to do, and does not conflict, Senator Cavan, with your bill that sets up a bunch of new judgeships. In fact, but yours sets it up in about 6, 7, 8 counties. What this does is it allows us to recall if the judge consents, if there's a need, if the presiding circuit judge certifies that need. The Chief Justice also verifies that, allows us to call back retired judges for a period not to exceed 50 days in any calendar year. And it gives us a chance to fill in the gaps, fill in the blanks where we need it. There's all kind of examples. A lot of y'all have drug courts, veterans courts, things of that nature. I can see retired judges doing that. We also, we tell judges they can't be reelected after they're 70. So we got a lot of folks sitting out there that have good minds and have no learning curve whatsoever. And we ought to be able to put them back to work. That's the deal.
We appreciate the preaching sermon. Any questions?
No, I
move
just want to make a
favorable.
comment. Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I move favorable.
We have a
wanna make a
motion,
comment.
second? Second. We have a second, all right.
Let's make a comment.
Excuse me?
May I make a comment?
Certainly.
I want to thank Representative Hill. He always brings good bills that really, everyday common sense kind of things that really help the people.
Senator Coleman Madison, you and I have to talk, but go ahead.
No, sir, I really enjoy her talk.
Thank you so much.
Any objection to previous roll? No objection. Bill's given a favorable report.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. HB 41, Representative Reynolds.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. And I just want to piggyback on what Judge Hill said. HB 41 is a workforce recruitment bill. It's about getting some very talented workers back into the workforce. Currently, under current law, they are capped at 37,000. HB 41 would take that to 52,000. It also removed some of the part-time language in the existing bill, and we created a 90-day separation before they can come back in and work. And certainly I support this bill as it stands for all retirees, but certainly, and Chairman, thank you for putting my bill on the calendar. And we do have a compromise. So I believe you'll see.
I think there's a sub ready to go.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Go.
Well, just a second. We got to get the sub. Senator Orr, you're sponsoring the sub?
Correct. So members, Representative Reynolds and I have, as he said, agreed upon a substitute for this bill, and the bill that the Senate bill's down in his committee today. Appreciate working with him. The sub basically says that for SROs and correctional officers, where our highest needs are, this $52,000 cap would come into play. And so I'd move adoption of the substitute.
We have a motion and a second on the sub. Any objection to previous roll?
No, I just have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Just to clarify, Senator, are you saying it would be only in those situations?
Yes.
SROs and COs, where we're having the greatest need and the court orders to fulfill.
And so why did we change it from bringing any of those retirees into just those two areas?
No, let me be clear, if I might. This doesn't say that only SROs can move, and this means that a retired police officer who wants to come back and get that additional monies would go and serve as an SRO or as a CO. Is that correct?
But it's just in these particular
those two particular jobs.
Raising the cap for those two categories.
Otherwise, the $37,000 cap stays in place for all retirees.
I must have misunderstood the first version of the bill then. I thought it was for anyone.
It was.
Okay, that's
what the sub
what I was
does.
asking.
Yeah.
So it's your fault. Well, thank you for the clarification. I just wish we would have left it at the original version
Well,
of the bill.
we'll see how this works, but I got high hopes. So we on the sub, we're ready to adopt the sub?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Certainly.
We did notice that in the development of the sub, the sunset of this provision was changed to 2026. My original bill had 2027. Senator Orr, I'm not sure if that was corrected on your sub.
I thought we had a 3-year deal, and I was handed an amendment to take it to 27, but I thought we were talking in terms of 3 years, which would mean 24, 25, 26.
Yeah, I think, of course, my suggestion is that we do it to 2027, because certainly we're trying to recruit new retirees back into the workforce, and they may look at that going, well, wait a minute, I don't want to jump in there for 3 years, but look, it's a longer commitment. Certainly the reason we put a sunset on this, we think this may be a temporary problem. Once we get full-time employees back into these roles, then this may not be needed.
Well, you're the sponsor. Do you have an objection to taking this sub at this point?
I do not.
Let's talk about it, Representative, and we'll do it on the floor if we need to. We're easy on the floor.
Thanks, sir.
With
Mr. Chairman, I'm good.
amendments.
All right. Any objection to the previous rule on the sub? Well, we have an objection, so we'll take a long roll.
Senator Albritton?
Aye, we're talking about the sub, adopting the sub at this point.
Senator Chambliss?
Aye.
Senator Beasley? Senator Coleman? Senator Coleman Madison?
Aye.
Senator Elliott? Senator Gavan? Senator Jones? Senator Kelly? Senator Livingston? Senator Orr? Senator Price? Senator Shona? Senator Stewart? Senator Smith? Senator Weaver?
All right, the sub is adopted. How about that? Now we're on adoption. We have a motion and a sub and a second. There we go. Get the correct S word. Previous role, any objection? No. We'd be happy to do that, Senator. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
We made that adjustment to the previous role, and Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, committee. Appreciate it.
HB 68, Representative Shedd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm handling HB 68 for Representative Shedd.
Representative Shedd, you got better looking recently.
Well, thank you, sir. HB 68 that came out of the House provided for the reimbursement of actual expenses for ADECO, one state agency for employees traveling in-state, in service for the state of Alabama. There's a substitute that the Department of Finance prepared after that bill came off the floor that would apply to all state employees and provide the option of current per diem or reimbursement of actual expenses for in-state travel. I think Senator Chambliss has the substitute.
I'll offer the sub, Mr. Chairman.
Sub is offered at this point. Any questions on the sub? Senator.
So is there any cap in here about what we're going to be paying?
That was a question of mine as well, and I don't see it right off the top of my head, but it does require the Department of Finance to put rules in place to cap, to make sure it doesn't get exorbitant and that kind of thing. They are to put rules in place to do that.
There was a fear, if I might jump in, that was discussed ad nauseum in how we were to do that. Under the current conditions of the inflation and such, if we put a cap on it, we'd hit that pretty quickly. We're going to leave it to the executive branch to run right herd on this and see how it works, and also with the regulations. We're going to give this a shot. We're all very apprehensive about it, but we need to do something in today's current conditions when people have to travel on state. We don't need it coming out of pocket.
I recognize that, and I recognize that because we deal with those same instances down here on our travel. But, you know, they don't want them going and staying at five-star hotels when a Hampton Inn will do just fine, and don't want them having 5-course meals when, you know, they have, quote, regular So that's my concern.
The approval process in this sub is, we hope has the guardrails on that, okay? Any other questions?
I had the same concern.
Senator Stutz, did I explain that right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And where are those guardrails? I'm looking through the sub quickly here.
It has to be approved by the department head. That has to be, I think there's a pre-approval in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the department head has to approve the actual expense prior to the travel. They can't do per diem. They can't do both. They have to, you know, and that comes through the department head prior to the travel of the employee.
So if he tries to go to the 5-star hotel when it's not required or something along that line, that's the department head's responsibility.
So I understand it approved. So we approved for you to stay in a hotel, and then you turn your receipt in, and it's double what you could have stayed in a different hotel for. And who's overseeing that receipt and saying no to it?
Department
heads.
The department head prior to the travel.
Department heads. Okay. Senator Coleman, Madison.
I mean, it's just in reference to that. I mean, if you have something approved prior to, and you decide that you don't want a hamburger, you want a steak, so you pay the difference, I'm assuming, between the hamburger and the steak. The question that I want to ask about is that if they're looking at this, somebody asked about a cap, but don't they base this on looking at where we are in a region comparatively?
That's part, again, of the oversight there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Mr. Chairman, if I could answer that, the Department of Finance will set policies for actual travel expenses and reimbursements, such as ceilings for actual reimbursement amounts. Likely, the current federal travel rates are found.
Right, thank you.
So we have a motion and a second on adopting of the sub. Any, Senator Orr?
One more question. I look in the fiscal note. Is this dealing only with the DECA, or is this everybody?
No, the sub deals with everybody.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Any objection to using previous roll on the adoption of the sub? If not, previous roll, and we have the sub adopted. Now we're on the bill. Do we have a motion on the adoption of the bill?
Move favorable.
We've got a motion. Second, previous roll. No objections. Previous roll used. We have favorable report. Let's call the.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Appreciate it. HB 87. HB 87. Anyone here on this one?
This is one of my House members, but I don't know about
law enforcement increased time period during which HC.
I'm sure Mr. MacArthur could tell us about it. I see him over my shoulder.
All right, we're out of time. I'm going to carry this bill over, and we'll see if we can get it up on another time.
Right.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, gets us through the agenda. Thank you for your patience. We're standing.